Today's decision has also stirred up many emotions in the local gay and lesbian community. Tonight, they are rallying on several different corners around town to show they're not backing down. ABC 23 Southwest reporter Aaron Briscoe is at the corner of Stockdale and Newstein, where one of the rallies is about to get underway. Aaron?
Yeah, Mike, members of the Bakersfield LGBTQ and supporters have already started showing up for tonight's rally. But if you see behind me, there's a few that they're here already. They have their signs out here in support of gay marriage, and they're trying to gather support from cars honking by and get their voice out there. Now, organizers say today's court decision to uphold the same-sex marriage ban was not completely unexpected. However, seeing it on paper has really made the reality of it all sink in. Now, despite the decision today, local same-sex marriage supporters say this is not the end of their fight, and they'll continue on fighting until marriage equality is achieved.
People in Kern County to know that this is not a fight very far away or having to do with people you don't know. We're your neighbors, we're your family members, and we care about this issue and very strongly, and we're going to continue to put our time, energy, and money into this struggle, and you know, we're not going away. And I think that kind of visibility really speaks to a lot of people locally who still don't really understand the issue, and it gives us an opportunity to reach out to them and say, you know, we're just regular folks, we're the people you know.
Now, during the 5 months same-sex marriages were illegal, Waddell, who you just heard from, she and her wife were the first gay couple to marry in Kern County. But Waddell says even though the court decided to uphold her marriage and the 18,000 others that were illegal at the same time, it's bittersweet because reality is they want equal rights for all. Now, again, people are starting to show up out here. We'll be out here at the 6 o'clock hour and talk to some of the people out here rallying. That's the latest here in Southwest Bakersfield. I'm Aaron Briscoe, ABC 23.
The court rejected the argument that Proposition 8 wasn't properly placed on the ballot, meaning the ban on same-sex marriage is legal. Once the court's ruling was announced this morning, demonstrators outside the courthouse in San Francisco decried the decision.
That everybody should have the same civil rights across the board.
The court decided three main issues. First, that Proposition 8 was legally placed on the ballot. Secondly, the court determined that voters have an almost unfettered ability to change the state constitution, meaning the justices couldn't overturn Prop 8 on the argument that it discriminates against a minority. Decisions state and local supporters of Proposition 8 were pleased with.
We're pleased that the court was intellectually honest enough to see the clarity of the voice of the people and to uphold that process, which was done according to the statutes and the laws of the state.
But the third aspect of the judge's decision, that the 18,000 same-sex marriages that took place from June 16th through Election Day last year were legal, didn't sit well with supporters.
And these arrogant San Francisco-based judges making law is what I think rankled most people the most. It wasn't the issue itself, it was the arrogance of our judiciary.
But the court ruled that an amendment can't be made retroactive unless it clearly is intended to be, and dissolving those marriages would also be too disruptive. Supporters call it legislating from the bench.
They basically made up law out of what's called whole cloth. In other words, they made it up themselves. They didn't interpret the law, they made the law. And they did that in this interim period, which causes, again, confusion in our society. There was no need for that.
But while Proposition 8 is now firmly legal in the state, Mettler believes the fight isn't over, as he thinks same-sex marriage supporters will continue pushing the issue. Live in studio, Chris Van Horn, ABC 23.
All right, Chris, thanks. And those people who oppose Prop 8 are rallying tonight on several corners around town to voice their concerns over today's decision to uphold the ban on same-sex marriage. ABC 23's Southwest reporter Aaron Briscoe is live on Stockdale Highway now, where one of the rallies is taking place. Aaron?
Yeah, Jackie, right now there are actually dozens of same-sex marriage supporters on the south corners of Stockdale Highway. As you can see behind me, they're all holding up signs in support of gay marriage and equal rights, despite today's Supreme Court's decision to uphold the ban for same-sex marriage. A lot of these people are out here showing support. They're not going to back down. Right now I have with me Juan Serdon. He's a member of the Bakersfield LGBTQ. Juan, how are you feeling today?
You know, I feel very disappointed today. The justices took away our rights today, and we're very disappointed. But we're going to continue fighting for this. Gay marriage will happen. So.
How are you going to continue fighting? What's next?
We're going to be going on the ballot. Most likely be 2010 or 2012 will be going forward. We'll be talking to people. Again, this is not it. We're going to be continuing the fight.
And were there some happy moments out of today's decision? I know it wasn't all bad news.
And not until we achieve full equality. It's not separate but equal. And so not until we achieve full equality will we truly be happy and be able to have what we really want to have, which is equality and our same rights.
Okay, thank you, Juan. The Supreme Court did make a decision that 18,000 same-sex marriages that were conducted before the ban, they did uphold them, so those marriages are still good. Some of the people out here are some of those couples, but they say they're out here supporting, their friends, their family, everyone else whose marriages are not upheld. So that's the latest here in Southwest Bakersfield. I'm Erin Briscoe. Back to you in the studio.
The 6-1 decision upholds the passage of Proposition 8, which got a 52% yes vote in November, but that did not stop many outspoken opponents of the ballot measure who are calling for equal rights. All over town tonight, supporters of gay marriage protested the state Supreme Court's decision to allow Proposition 8 to stand.
I'm feeling very disappointed in the Supreme Court. The choices that they made today, it's going to have a very sad legacy in California. Taking other people's rights away is just not the right thing to do.
The court ruled the measure was legally placed on the ballot and that the court cannot overturn the vote of the people simply because it discriminates against a minority.
We're pleased that the court was intellectually honest enough to see the clarity of the voice of the people and to uphold that process, which was done according to the statutes and the laws of the state.
Prop 8 was drafted after California's Supreme Court lifted a ban on gay marriage last year. The court decision pleased many of the measure's supporters.
It is the flawed methodology that when the court oversteps their bounds and they legislate from the bench, they didn't interpret the law, they made the law. And they did that in this interim period, which causes, again, confusion in our society.
Supporters of gay marriage will take little consolation in knowing the 18,000 couples who married before Prop 8 passed will not have their marriages nullified. But many in the gay community who are married say that won't be enough.
The 18,000 couples that got married during that window of time, yeah, we're still married. But what about the people who didn't have somebody then, or they were just in a brand new relationship? They don't have the option we have.
Supporters of gay marriage also saying this will not be the end of their cause in the state of California. They say they will work to get the issue back on the ballot as early as next year. Live in the newsroom, Felix Rodriguez-Lima, ABC 23 News.